Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a very special Memorial Day version of the Baseball Talk Radio Show. I'm Gary Mack.
And Rich Baxter over here. Happy Memorial Day weekend to you, Gary.
Rich, same to you. And, this is uh, really a holiday that's been flipped kind of around a little bit. We do say Happy Memorial Day, but it is really Memorial Day is really to honor and remember those that have died in the line of military duty for the United States, protecting our freedom. And we get it mixed up sometimes with Veterans Day, which is the day that we honor all military people that have served, that are still alive or have may have passed. But just wanted to clarify that a little bit. But it is the unofficial beginning of summer.
Yes.
We use that as a designation, and it is a long weekend, so people do celebrate with barbecues and stuff. But I don't know about this year, Rich. We've lost like 30 degrees in temperature over the last 2 days, and it was 82 the other day, and today I think it's like 40 out. So maybe even 40 degrees we lost, but crazy weather.
Yeah. Who would have thunk it? We had the nice weather leading up to the holiday weekend here. And as you said, yeah, solemn holiday, um, a marker of the unofficial start of summer and a huge mark in baseball as well. By the Memorial Day weekend is how a lot of people grade teams. And of course, we want to tip our caps to all veterans out there, especially, people in your family, maybe, who sacrificed their lives for the country and gave it all. We want to tip our caps to them as well. So, we're going to do our best to bring you a good show this weekend. We hope you enjoy it. And Gary, first up, you have a story on something that just occurred.
Well, yeah, Rich, and I don't want to get anybody sick, so let me change my background here. There we go. Uh, yeah, Rich, Twins third baseman Josh Donaldson scored the 2 millionth run in baseball history. He scored it on Nelson Cruz's ground rule double of Royals right-hander Irvin Santana in the first inning yesterday in a game between the Twins and the Royals. The Elias Sports Bureau, the official statisticians of MLB, recently verified the total number of runs scored in anticipation of this milestone. Now, official MLB history dates back to 1876 when the National League began play. And the first run that they have was scored by Tim McGinley in 1876 of the Boston Red Stockings. It's hard. It's a little arbitrary because there was other leagues that came in for a while, the Federal League and whatnot. And now baseball is going to be adding the Negro League into their official family. So that could change it as well. But I think they should leave it based on the stats that they have right now and just call it that this is it, the two millionth run. By the way, in the slide there was the 100th, the 1 millionth run was scored by Bob Watson of the Houston Astros at the time. And interesting story I heard last night was that he got a million Tootsie Rolls. Tootsie Rolls had some sort of promotion, and they sent him a million Tootsie Rolls, and he got, I think it was from some bank, a million pennies, which he donated both things. But the guy who was telling the story on MLB last night also mentioned that when he was scoring, I think it was him, when he was scoring a run, they were yelling at him, um, I think it was on a home run, if I remember the story correctly. And they were yelling at him to run fast, run, run, run. He was like, "Why? Why do I got to hit a home run?" But it was a time thing. They were afraid that they knew it was going to coming up to the millionth run, and there was another game going on, and if they scored first, so they were egging him on to run faster to make sure that he was the millionth run. Apparently, it worked because he was the millionth run. But that's just a little antidote there that was thrown out at the game last night. But 2 million runs in baseball history, pretty neat stat.
Yeah, very cool. It's amazing how many stats they collect. And I used to love to read, like Elias says, every day in baseball history, especially the press notes. They list that kind of stuff in there, just old stats that you might not have thought about for a while. And
Right.
very cool.
Yeah, really neat. And no word on what he may get for this.
Yeah, I doubt, Tootsie Roll is going to come up with 2 million for.
Well, and there's nothing, nobody really talked about any promotions or anything for it. So I don't know. No, it wasn't really, I didn't really know what was happening until last night. I happened to put on the Cardinals and the, oh, who was it? Slips my mind already. Arizona Diamondbacks.
Uh,
They were the late game, and I happened to catch an inning or two of it, and they started talking about that. And, I just thought it was pretty interesting. It would be an interesting story for us, but yeah, 2 million runs.
yeah, very cool. There's a lot of running around the bases for that. And as we were saying at the start of the show, Memorial Day is a big weekend for baseball. I believe there's a quadruple header that'll be on uh, the network, MLB Network, on Memorial Day. But let's take a little look around the standings so far. This May 30th, next to the last day of the month here, and I'll put this up on the screen for our YouTube
Mm-hmm.
listeners and watchers here. We'll just go over it a little bit here. Over in the AL East, kind of a surprise to me. Look at the surging Tampa Bay Rays there. They
Yeah, yeah.
seized first place, 9-1 in their last 10 games. They're playing my Phillies today down there in Tampa. So first place for the Tampa Rays.
Yeah, and it's close. Boston's right behind them there, and Yankees are they've got a little breathing room from the Yankees and Toronto, and of course Baltimore's in last, but Baltimore, was not expected to do much, but played a little bit better than I think people thought they might. But that Tampa Bay team is tough. They're good, boy.
Yeah.
I don't know how they keep doing it with that little payroll that they have, but they keep coming up with ball players and making these little deals and stuff that they just know what they're doing. And how about the Chicago White Sox? We were talking about La Russa last week, wondering if he was losing the team, if he was too old, but look where they are.
Yeah, they're atop of the AL Central there, still ahead of Cleveland by 3 games.
Yeah.
Got a huge lead on them, and they happen to be playing Baltimore this weekend, so they got a good reason to stay up top there.
Yeah. That's for sure. And the West is pretty interesting there. LA, the Angels got off to a quick start, but like their other counterpart in LA, they've slipped a little, and Oakland's grabbed the division lead there with Houston not too far behind. And that's not really that big of an surprise. Thought it'd be Houston. Well, they're right there. So I mean, they're not too far behind. So um, they lost some key players, but they seem to be able to fill in the spots as well. And Seattle's in there, a game under 500. Texas is still in it. They're all kind of bunched together in that division. Uh, and talking about bunched up in a division, Rich, look at the next one.
Yeah. NL East. Mighty Mets holding the top spot, 5 games over 500, 4-game winning streak, plus 2 runs here in the differential. Next opponent's Philly. They're 3.5 games tied with the Braves. The Braves are bringing it on here all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And, here's the Marlins hanging in there.
Yeah, the Marlins, you got to give them credit, though. I mean, the Mets are the only team above 500. Who thought we'd be saying that? With 16 men on the disabled list, I thought for sure it would be a lot worse, but uh, they're hanging tough. The Mets had a big game last night. What was it, the final? 13-2, I think, against the Atlanta Braves, of all people. So Mets are getting it done. That particular thing doesn't give the stat for in the division, but they're 15-5 at home and away 10-15. They're going on a 9-game road trip tomorrow, so they better improve that. But wow, pretty good. And St. Louis is leading in the Central with the Cubbies right behind them. And Milwaukee is still in that race. And there's Cincinnati and Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh 9.5. They're not out of it, but a good distance behind at this point in time.
Yeah, they're almost playing like the Orioles are in the American League. And out west, it's San Diego. No surprise there. They've been playing on fire. Best record in baseball at 34-19. And I kind of thought we might see this. They stocked up with superstars down there, and suddenly that small market team is going to be a contender.
Yeah, they use their farm system to bring in some names. As you said, they stocked up on some superstar free agents, brought in some pitching, and they're really this year they're blooming with all that young guys. Tatis is going to be some big star, and had a big game last night. And I think the surprise there is too the fact that the Giants are where they're at, 12 games over 500, a game and a half behind San Diego, and the Dodgers are in third place. Now they're only 2.5 games out, so they're right in the mix. But I thought we would see them dominating the league, and with San Diego behind them, and it's just the flip flop right there.
Yeah, San Diego on fire. Look at that. The Dodgers are 10 games over 500 and are third place. So that gives you an idea how those Padres are completely dominating there. Look at them at plus 89 runs. The run differential. They're playing the Houston Astros this weekend. So going to keep watching them for sure all season. And did you happen to see that Cubs play? I guess it was last week sometime. Javi Lopez running down the first. He got in a rundown. The player scored from third. Did you happen to see that play?
I did, and my first thought was, why would you get somebody in a rundown on first base?
Yeah, it was amazing that.
I mean, that was a bit of a brain freeze by the fielder.
Yeah,
but it happens to everybody.
Yep. What a wacky looking play it was, but it's one of those things that happens, and then you're like, "Wow, did I just see that?"
Yeah.
But Cubs putting it back together, it looks like, and they're playing pretty well there for our YouTube listeners. If we don't get in trouble for this, don't know if that was the play. Yeah, see, that's the bad thing about
Yeah.
live trying to come up with these live plays here. Not sure that that was the one, but interesting play there. I love to see that kind of stuff in baseball.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a wacko play, but like you say, you love to see it.
Yeah.
It's like in the Mets game last night, Cameron Maybin, who the Mets picked up for a dollar, they say from Chicago, was 0 for 26 or 0 for 27 as a Met. Couldn't buy a hit, and he hits like a dribbler up the third base line and then let it roll and stayed fair. That was his first hit as a Met. So
Right.
those are the things in baseball that take place that you don't find a lot of other sports, and they're pretty neat. And that's the game. That's why we like it so much. The unexpected. Bartolo Colon hitting a home run, the oldest man to hit oldest pitcher to hit a first home run, and that's the kind of thing that we love, and it's also the kind of thing that they want to take away. So I don't, I don't know, but yeah, it was an interesting play with Ozuna, and standings are just topsy turvy this year. You don't know what to expect. It's going to be that kind of year, I think, coming off that short season last year. We don't know how guys are going to react to this year, so be interesting to watch it all play out. Rich.
Yes, indeed. Well, we brought up a story last week and the last couple weeks about card collecting in baseball. And this week we've got another one for you. A big card collection was put on sale, and it'll go on sale in a couple days, actually. A Florida doctor passed away in January, and he amassed over $20 million in rare sports cards. A lot of them are baseball cards, including a 1933 Gaudy Babe Ruth card and a 1952 Topps Mickey Mantle card.
Wow.
Gentleman's name is Thomas Newman. He was a retired Florida neurologist and left an impressive collection of over 1,000 cards and some memorabilia to his family. And here's some pictures if you're watching on the YouTube feed of our show here. There's the Babe Ruth in the center there, graded a mint 9 condition. So that's pretty
Wow.
good. Very good,
Yeah,
actually.
that's excellent.
Yeah, it's going to break a record, they say. Auction is it's expected to go over $5.2 million. It's going to break a record. And that starts June 21st through July 10th online. Memory Lane Auctions is who's selling the card and all the collection for that matter. So interesting that, a gentleman like this accumulated such a big collection.
Yeah, and interesting that the prices seem to be coming back on baseball cards again.
Yeah, big time, big time. And, a related story to this is a rare Honus Wagner card. And that's who we always think of when we think of big money baseball cards.
Yeah.
Just recently sold for a record $3.75 million. It's the old T206, which I've looked for many times around my house. I can't find any because I have an old historic house. I was wondering, I wonder if somebody, at some point collected cards, but yeah, $3.75 million for this Honus Wagner card. Probably one of the most famous cards in baseball. But the B side to the story, and there's the picture if you're watching on YouTube, it was only rated a good card with a 2 rating on it, and it got that kind of money.
You can't find them, So
Yeah.
what you can find is what you get, and that's it. And I'm surprised that the Mike Trout card is more valuable or was sold at a higher rate than the Hannes Wagner? Because it seems to me there should be more Mike Trout cards out there, don't you? I mean, nothing
Yeah,
against Mike Trout, but
yeah, I'm really amazed by it because like you said, you would think there's a lot more Mike Trout cards out there, which there are. Um, and why did somebody pay that much for it?
yeah, I don't know. Unless the rookie card um is
Let's see.
that rare? I don't know.
Let's look into a story real quick here. On the specific card that it was, it's a rare Mike Trout autographed baseball card that set the record highest selling sports card of all time Saturday night. An unnamed bidder purchased it online for $3.936 million. It was a 2009 Bowman Chrome Draft prospects rather, Superfractor rookie card. So amazing there.
So it's see, that's the thing nowadays. You have these superfractor things, you have regular cards.
Yeah. And this was
It
just happened to be a pull in a pack probably.
yeah.
And of course the Bowman cards are the rookie cards. If you've ever bought them, it's a lot of feast or famine, mainly famine. You get, every rookie that comes down the road, and you'd be surprised, very few players turn into stars, and you're left there with a $6 pack of cards with guys that you've never heard of before.
Yeah. I don't know. They may, when we were kid or when I was a kid, you had tops and Donruss, I think it was for a while, and that was kind of it. And Pops only put out like the one set, and then maybe a revised set when guys got traded or whatever, in the middle of the year. But basically, there was that one set of cards, and now with nowadays it's Topps puts out 14 different varieties. So what is really a rookie card anymore? I guess a guy technically could have 10 rookie cards.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And I guess it's just the one that, this is the one version. Maybe because like you said, they didn't put a lot of them out of it. It's a pullout, and it's like you said, autographed and that refractor thingy, and
Yeah.
so it's rare. But what happens is then somebody else says, well, I got a 2009 Topps Trout card. That's his rookie card. What's that worth?
Now I wonder the
It's worth.
history. I got to wonder about the history of that card, how the guy came about
Yeah, how he got it.
purchasing that card. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you never know. He could have went to wherever you get cards nowadays and bought a pack, and it happened to be in there, and he saved all the rookies, or he saved all the signature cards, and he got lucky.
Yeah. Yeah. Big investment there.
Yeah. Yep.
Investment of a lifetime.
Yep. Well, Rich, we made an investment in this show, and we are happy to do so, and we hope that the people enjoy it, and we hope they like it enough to subscribe to the show on our YouTube channel, Baseball Talk Radio Show, and catch us every week when we come on YouTube or the audio version on Anchor.fm. And also, if you'd like to support the show, you can go to Anchor.fm and slash the Baseball Talk Radio Show and contribute there to help us along if you wish. Or you can go to our Patreon page at patreon.com/baseball talk, and you can leave a donation through that as well if you'd like to help us out. We love doing the show for you, and we want to always try to improve the quality of the show, audio, the video, whatever, and but it's not cheap, folks. I'll be honest with you, it's not cheap, and uh, Rich and I are continually trying to. We just both upgraded our computer systems. Um, Probably next is the cameras, huh, Rich? We got to upgrade those a little bit, maybe, but that's a big chunk. So
Yeah, yeah, constantly upgrading, and more so than that, we just love to see, in our ecosystem sort of supporters, and like I was mentioning on other shows, a lot of other podcasts have listener supported shows. We don't bombard you with ads and things like that like other shows do. We wish we could, but we don't. But yeah, we'd love to have you jump aboard our thing that we do here each week on baseball, talking about your favorite sport. And send us an email if you want. If you have a question about sponsoring the show, or maybe just a question about a topic we should cover, send it to Rich at baseballtalkradio.com or Gary at baseballtalkradio.com, and we'll get back to you during the week on it. Gary, another big sports story that I discovered. It's kind of not that big, but it's from your neck of the woods there in the New York area. And struck me because, Twitter is a place that you can go to, and people are very rude and mean sometimes for one reason or another. And this story stuck out at me. Mets pitcher Jordan Yamamoto recently called out fans for attacking his wife on Twitter after his poor performance on the mound. So for some reason, a lot of fans took to Twitter and started lashing out at his wife, who's not too bad to look at there if you're watching our show here. And Jason stuck up for her and said, like, don't go after her. It was me on the mound that didn't perform well.
yeah, these social media things, especially Twitter, they're terrible. It's easy to be nasty and attack people when there's no when you're anonymous, and people do this consistently and constantly on these sites. And I understand you want to stay in touch with the fans and everything, but fans are nasty. New York fans are nasty. Let's face it, Philadelphia fans are nasty as well. No offense, Rich,
I think any
but
fans could be construed as could
yeah, any
possibly
any
be
team,
nasty.
right? And especially on this type of forum. Um, I mean, the social media, Twitter. There's a lot of nasty people on Twitter, and to tell you the truth, I think I would recommend that most ball players get off of Twitter, stay away from it. I know you like it. I know it's fun and something, but this is when it's no longer fun. See, and look, everybody at some time in their life is going to get attacked on there. So I say get off of it. I don't. How did he get such a long tweet out though? They're always cutting me off after 140. That's long.
Yeah, it looks like it was saved as a photo, maybe.
You think
You
he
could
did it
do
in pieces and then they just put it together or
well, you
something?
could do that as a photo and save it somehow.
Oh, I get you.
And then you post the photo and that's what it looks like. But yeah,
Oh, see, I didn't know that. I actually quit Twitter for a while. Um, and then figured I have to go back on for the Mets musings for the show. But it's why attack the wife? What if she had nothing to do with it? She's gonna back her husband no matter what. It's just silliness and foolishness and people feeling their oats. And we're doing a lot of that in this country now, and it's not a good a thing.
yeah, that's
And
true. And a lot of people have Twitter tied to their phones. They may get a notification when they get a comment or something mentioned about them on Twitter. So that probably what happened there. But yeah, it's just one of those things to show you that Twitter isn't the nice place that it could be and should be most of the time. I sort of have a love-hate relationship with it myself. Ever since certain people were banned from it, it soured me from it. I don't
Yeah.
believe in arbitrarily waving a hand and you know, and I'm talking specifically about Trump here. He carried Twitter and put them on the map. He brought millions of people to that platform, and then towards the end there, they shut him down. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that owner of Twitter, I'm just not a fan of, and I still remain there at Fighting Phillies is my handle, but don't go there that often anymore, and it's a shame, like
Yeah, I know. I get it. To me, it's too fast. I can't follow any stories on it. It doesn't make sense to me. The one thing about Facebook, and I'm not crazy about Facebook either, but at least you can follow a story. If you put a post up and people comment on it, you can follow it. Twitter's not like that, and you can be reading something arbitrarily and you're saying, well, what are you talking about? And then you have to go through all of this crap to see where it links up and everything. um I don't like it. I'm like you, though. I keep it for podcast reasons, as a way of getting out word that the podcast is out. And that's about all I use it for now, because I don't want to get involved with these people. I don't want to get into these wars and arguments about things. It's not worth my time. It's not worth frankly, it's not worth their time either, unless that's what they live for. And well, there are people that live to argue, and that's what they love to do. And as I said before, it's being anonymous on there. It's easy to do, and it's easy to be the tough guy and to be nasty, because you're never going to run into these people. And they know that.
yeah,
So,
yeah, it just seems like an um, anonymous forum, I guess you want to say, but people's feelings can be hurt at the same time. And like you said, it's sort of like a best thing I can think of it is the old ticker tape in a newsroom that continuously is pumping out stories and news
yeah.
as you're watching it. It's real time. It's people commenting on things real time. Um, and it's almost like a mob mentality at sometimes as well.
Yeah, it can turn into that real quick. And what can you say? Uh, Not much else you can say about that. Rich, I've got
Another, Mhm.
I've got a couple of stories here. Moving on, that are not happy go lucky stories, but they're on news, and it happened in baseball, and we should really report it. Um, I'm going to try to combine them together, though, for the sake of brevity. Atlanta Braves star Marcell Ozuna was arrested yesterday on an alleged domestic violence incident in Georgia, and the team confirmed this last night. He was placed on the injured list early this week after he injured two fingers in a game. He did not make the trip to New York, and apparently, him and his wife got into some sort of argument. He had aggravated assault, strangulation, and misdemeanor battery family violence charges placed against him. So, another domestic abuse thing. The odd thing about this, Rich, is that it happened nearly 1 year after Azuna's wife was arrested on domestic violence charges. She allegedly hit him with a soap dish in the face. So um, this is not a couple that are working out their differences, or they're working them out in a different way. I don't know. The other story is that w- this is a story we talked about I guess it was a month or a couple of months ago now, maybe. Major League Baseball's placed Angels pitching coach Mickey Callaway on its ineligible list through at least the 2022 season, Commissioner Rob Manfred announced. The league made the decision after investigating Callaway for harassment allegations that were levied against him. And if you remember, he had sent lewd pictures of himself to different women. He made lewd comments to them. He was having an affair. It was just a messed up thing. Well, baseball, I guess, completed their investigation and they put him on the ineligible list with Pete Rose and whoever else is on there now. But Mickey Callaway out, and the Angels fired him as pitching coach. So, um, real world is entering into the world of sports, and we're seeing it happen more and more. But I really blame some of this on the on really the cameras in the cell phones. And I think we mentioned this before, or I mentioned it on Mets Musings, that in our day, you couldn't take those kind of pictures that they take nowadays because it would have been filmed. So they would have had to get gone through a process, and everybody in the lab or in the drugstore or whatever would have saw your picture, whoever was developing it. Now with these digital photos and everybody's got a camera in their cell phone, it makes it a lot easier. And I think that's why you see this whole proliferation of all these lewd photos and um, I don't want to use the name. We're trying to keep this as a family show, but it's just crazy. I don't know what's going on anymore, Rich. I really don't.
Yeah, it's one of those things, and I think you hit the nail right on the head. Years ago, you were talking on a phone. Nowadays, the phone and the camera are integrated together, so it's
Mhm.
sort of like everybody's a reporter, everybody's documenting, everybody's taking pictures these days, but you do have to be careful if you're in a public position like that, like even in your private interest. I don't know. Your private and your public life are two different things. I find this a walk between private and profession. Like, does your job have, you know, legislation over your private life? And just because, maybe there was a back and forth, we don't know the whole story on this, really. I mean,
Right.
but as the person doing this, don't do it. That's as simple as that. I would never dream of doing something like that if I was in a position like he was. A coach, a manager of a team, you're going to go out on a limb and, mail personal photos of yourself off to somebody? No, sir, I wouldn't do it.
I wouldn't do it to my wife.
To me, it's
You know,
stupid. Yeah, to me, it's stupid. I mean,
I know, the pictures of your junk. I mean, come on, and then this is, women that don't really know him. I mean,
yeah, to me, it's I don't know. It's kind of stupid.
I said to my wife the other day, I says, I watch some of these ads on television now and things, and I'm going, am I turning into a prude? Because some of them just are so
Forward and yeah,
just
exactly.
disgusting. I mean, the one that gets me is the it's a woman's hygiene product, and the tagline is poise in her life and poise in her pants.
Yeah,
I mean,
that that crosses the line
come
of
on. It's you know, it's tacky.
crosses decency.
Or how about the one where the girl is dancing in the streets because she's got an IUD? Is that the right? Am I correct?
Some
For
sort.
birth control, and she's dancing in the streets, and they're dancing. They got like the whole thing. They got the whole song about it, and I'm like, come on! Is there anything personal anymore?
Yeah.
Anything sacred?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I said, maybe I'm turning into a prude in my old age, but I just find that stuff ridiculous, and I
Yeah. It
don't know. I
does.
guess it's the brainwashing of America, Rich, where everything is okay. And it's like they had this show. I don't know if you ever watched it, Naked and Afraid, where they put these people in survival situations,
Uh-huh.
a man and a woman, and they're naked. And the whole idea is they go through these survival things, right?
Uh-huh.
Well, but now they're not. They blur everything out. So look, if you're gonna do a show, then you shouldn't you show it? I mean, so that's why I don't think I'm a prude, but yet some things bother me.
Yeah. Well, there is a line of decency that you expect from public type um, broadcasts, so to speak.
Mhm.
And yeah, certainly it gets crossed at times, but that's just stupid on the part of Callaway to get broiled up into that. Now he doesn't have a career in baseball, so kind of
Yeah,
silly there.
I don't get it. I don't get any of these guys. The guy that was hired as the general manager of the Mets, he did the same thing. Yeah, I don't know. You better be sure the woman wants to see these things before you getting involved in it. That's all I got to say. If you're
Yeah,
gonna get
and
involved,
then I wouldn't even do it. I mean,
no, I agree.
it's a personal thing that you don't want to. Depends who you are, I guess, but
Yeah, I guess so.
yeah, it's a shame.
There's a lot of guys out there with the sex disease or whatever whatever they call what do they call it? I
Whatever.
don't know. But
Well,
anyway, let's move on.
turning to a safer story, so to speak. Um, Social media rears its ugly head again. New Era put out a selection of caps, local MLB caps that had, different numbers on the caps and different things on the caps to remind you about your favorite team were pulled from sale this past week after Twitter and other social media sites took to it and destroyed them. And here, as you're looking at our YouTube show, I don't see anything wrong with these caps. New York had Statue of the Liberty, an apple on the side, I guess some numbers that are familiar to New Yorkers there. Not quite sure if they're area codes or what they are.
Yeah, I don't know. They all
But
seem to have the same numbers on it for, I guess, for publicity purposes.
yeah, so I mean, here's LA with some palm trees. Uh, can't quite tell what's on the side of that hat. But these hats are expensive to make, and they probably cost pretty decent sum there. Um, got trashed on social media here after New Era put out a tweet. What do you think? So several well-named important quote unquote, and I use that in air quotes, people wrote back to him, why would I buy the worst hat ever made? That sort of thing. I don't know. It's
Well,
that
I got to
sort of
be honest. I wouldn't buy them.
yeah, but
They're pretty
there,
bad.
if near New Era, and I think we both have them on today.
Yeah, oh
This
yeah.
is a limited edition Phillies American flag cap that I got a few years ago. That I don't think they make that anymore.
Yeah.
These would have been collector's items. A little bit loud, little busy on them, but I've seen
Yeah.
worse from the New Era. So
I
This
think
story did.
I think the market now is such that they're always looking to try to do something different and try to put out something. Um, I don't know. I always grew up where I wanted to get an official cap. When I was a kid, you couldn't get them. And
Yeah.
then when I got older and you could, I got the official caps, and that was great. And then they went to the alternate caps and the batting practice caps, um and then they went to the different colors, and that's really what get it is. I really don't get like a Yankee cap that's pink. You know what I mean? It's not. It's but a lot of this goes to the young kids now. A lot of it, the younger crowd. This is what they want. They want the colors. They want half of them don't care if it's a Yankee cap. They like the color. They like the NY for New York or whatever. The thing I don't get nowadays is the black on black hats. You know,
Yeah.
it's an all black cap with the the logo is stitched in black. So when you look from a distance, all you see is a black hat. you know,
Yeah.
I don't get the purpose of but that's I'm an old guy too, so I'm like I say, I'm more traditional. I like the traditional regular caps and um, um, some of the alternate caps are cool, but the fashion caps are the things that I don't go for. But I wouldn't have, look. I wouldn't have bought those caps. I didn't like it. I'm not sure I'd take the time to comment on it, but on the other hand, New Era asked, "What do you think of these caps?" And they got feedback. I guess uh, instead of having like people come in and rate the caps, they take a picture, they make a couple, they put it out there, and
But
they know.
I'll tell you a little thing about feedback. It seems like people that are not happy with the product are 100 times more likely to comment on
Oh
something that
yeah,
they don't like, where there's a 99 other people that, oh yeah, that's pretty cool, but I'm not going to type anything.
yeah, yeah.
So all of a sudden you got people, concerned about it. And then you got 99 other people that just doesn't have a bigger voice on Twitter, so to speak, that would have maybe purchased it. So I don't
Maybe,
know.
yeah. But then they have to say something because you're going to get the negative comments, and when you start seeing the negative comments, you have to say something in order to save some. And if you don't, then they're not going to make it. So
Another quick story here before we wind up our Memorial Day special podcast weekend here for you. Either the Oakland A's or the Tampa Bay Rays rumored for a move possibly. And we'll just reiterate again, the MLB believes that the two top markets for expansion would be Montreal again, and believe it or not, Nashville, Tennessee. So Oakland A's and the Tampa Bay Rays, they might be ponying up stakes one day for a new city. So we're going to keep our eye on that. It's been
yeah. Well, I know MLB recommended that Oakland look for an alternate site, and apparently Tampa Bay is back into talks with Ybor. I think it's YBOR City, which is not far from Tampa Bay, trying to get a stadium there. But Rich, before we go, one more story. Um, on the 80th anniversary of his untimely death, Lou Gehrig will be remembered across Major League Baseball on June 2nd. That's June 2nd. That's what, Wednesday? I don't have a calendar. Um, he is going to be remembered for his integrity, durability, and devotion to the game of baseball. It's actually a double anniversary since Gehrig actually died on the same month and day that he started his consecutive games playing streak in 1923. He started his streak on June 2nd, 1923, and he died from ALS on June 2nd, 1941, at the age of 37. Isn't that a shock? He was only 37 years old. This degenerative disorder gradually causes victims to lose motor skills, eroding their ability to walk, talk, eat, and breathe. There is no proven cure, though there is some good work being done by a place in Israel, and they almost seem close to discovering one. So that would be terrific if they could find a cure for this hideous disease. But baseball is going to recognize Lou Gehrig. He joins Jackie Robinson and Roberto Clemente as posthumous. I can't say it. Posthumous honorees of the game. His name lives on through the Lou Gehrig Memorial Award, and I just think it's a good thing, and it's a great thing, and it's a time that they remember Lou Gehrig, one of the best, if not the best, first baseman of all time. Terrific ball player, and guys, boy, they look older in those days, didn't they? He looks older than 37, but he was 37 years old when he passed away, and never really had a chance at life, though. When you think back what he accomplished in those short time, really incredible. So kudos to Rob Manfred, something we do not do often, but kudos to Rob Manfred and Major League Baseball for honoring the Iron Horse, Lou Gehrig, this coming June 2nd. And that's it for me. Rich, we're not hearing you right now.
Sorry about that. How about now?
Okay.
Not quite sure what happened there, but it's nice to hear that Lou Gehrig will get his commemoration, so to speak, his day, June 2nd. Available red wristbands will be worn on that day with the 4 ALS logo and things like that. So all for a great cause. So I'm all for that. That's excellent.
And Rich, I guess that's gonna wrap up another show.
Yeah, we're bringing this one into the barn. Have a happy, though a solemn weekend here, remembering our dead soldiers that brought us freedom, made us experience the things that we're able to experience today, and bring us freedom to our country, something that a lot of other people can't say.
Yeah, and very well said. And we will see you next time on another edition of the Baseball Talk Radio show. So have a good week. We'll see you then. I'll see you then, Rich.
All right, Gary. Take care.